Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat or Catherine and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire, United Kingdom. As always, I'm joined by Audrey, who is currently just walking around me in circles. She might come up and join, but we have a little bit of a neighbourhood cat problem in that I've lovingly nicknamed him Tuxedo Cat, but he keeps coming onto Audrey's turf and she's not very happy about it. I felt really guilty, but I have tried to shoo him away a couple of times with not really much luck. Apparently, Becky laughed, she said I wasn't scary enough, but it's kind of upsetting because it's causing little Audrey distress, and this is her space. Yeah, so I digress, but Audrey really is the star of the show. I'll pop in a bit of footage of her here or at the end. She might pop up and join, sometimes she does. She likes to sit on my knitwear, which is what, next to me, I have a purple poof, we call it a poof, like a footstool, with my Texture Time shawl on it. And again, I'll try and pop in a picture of that because that is a piece that I'm really, really proud of. I do recommend that pattern if you are in the market for a shawl and something that's slightly more interesting. But as much as I get to wear it, it's also become Audrey's blanket, which probably makes it the most expensive and time-consuming cat bed of all time. But anyway, so yeah, quite a few finished objects today, or a few. I've been unwell. I'm just opening up with the waffle, but I've been a bit unwell, so I've had some time off, and I just couldn't do much else other than knit, which is kind of a blessing really. And yeah, so I'll share some of those with you. I'm drinking HORSHAM Christmas Blend still. I bought a kilo of it because it's affordable and delicious. And this is the mug that I made, I guess 2 years ago now, but I love it. It is really weighty, and I did ask when I was discussing with the potter that taught me. It's a pinch pot, which is why it really is a bit wobbly. I loved my handle, I was quite proud of how smooth I managed to get that. But she told me that it was going to shrink a lot more. It hasn't, and it's almost a bucket, but it is a lot smaller on the inside because I didn't go down too far, which is why it's so heavy, but I quite like knowing that it's here. I'll pop that down for now. Oh, I don't have anything next to me to put it on because the throne of little Audrey is there instead. I'm going to start off with ones that you've seen, or one that you've seen. So last week, 2 weeks ago, I shared the start of my cherry, which is a pattern by MIDORI Cafe, and I have finished her. It is kind of blowing out. Come a little bit closer. So this is, I think Midori High Rose is her name, and this is just a drops mohair, kid silk mohair, and then my own hand dyed mohair too, which is the lovingly and affectionately titled Meow Meow Space Tiger, or just Space Tiger, as in the song by the RIACH Bandits, who used to be a rather ska band. I think Alex would agree with, yeah, sort of ska band. And aren't really anymore. I don't know what to say that they are, but after many years of listening to it, I do believe it's one of my favourite albums of the last 10 years, and one of the most underrated ones. So if you're in the market for a new album, I do recommend it. I ended up doing exactly the same fit as the last one that I knitted. It's got the little bell sleeves, the elbow length puffy ones, and longer. I didn't end up doing what I was going to do, and I was going, as if I needed to look more washed out. I was going to hold the black and the variegated together at the ends, and I actually would really like to do that on a project, but at the end of the day I wanted to wear this, and I didn't really think about it when I got towards the end. I was like, but I would like to do more of an eye cold bind off so that they've got a little bit more give. And have it weighted down a little bit by the fact that it's held double. So I do see another one of these on my horizon, and if you are in the market for a top, why do I keep saying in the market? If you're after a top to try out some of maybe your mohair stash or worsted weight stash, I do recommend it. It is a very, very simple pattern to follow. The colour work goes so quickly, and there's not that much of it, which makes it a really nice one for using up almost scraps. In fact, I should weigh it, and I will weigh it and pop it on my Ravelry page. I will do that today. It's just so that you know roughly how much yarn I use, because it really could be scraps. I mean, you could hold double mohair throughout if you wanted. You could just hold double mohair on the colour work. That might be nice, give it even more of a pop. But it is a pattern that has almost unlimited shapes and designs, so you could have little puffy sleeves, it comes with bell sleeves. Yeah, really, really like this. I've worn it quite a bit already, and I think I probably phrase it that way every time I discuss it. But I have worn it a few times. I wore it to see Slipknot, which felt quite nice to be able to go to a show wearing a knitted item. And yeah, highly practical. I say practical. If you don't mind mohair, it's incredibly practical. It's so lightweight. I mean, you can, if you're a really bad person, roll it up and pop it in your handbag, which I didn't have to do. It was perfect. It kept me warm enough and cool enough. I think it's because it was on top of Alex told me it was on top of an ice rink. I kind of believe him, but I didn't look down to check. But anyway, yeah, so very good pattern, very quick knit really, I think 4 or 5 days. But yeah, cherry, MIDORI Cafe. Next, I have to open with, I made a boo-boo on the sleeve, and you'll be able to see that even from here if I come a bit closer. Because I feel like we do this as knitters, and I didn't notice it until I was way, way past it, so it's there, it's just a little bit of difference. It's just an ism. But this is a test knit, or Fibre Tales, who, if you don't know, she has a very lovely podcast, very relaxing to watch, has little ones, which is very cute, and she designs quite a lot of beautiful items. I was going to say something. This jumper used, I will ruin this, hopefully I won't, it's SNAELDAN, I believe it's called. It's the 3-ply, I believe, and it has about 260 metres per 100 grams. I held it with more mohair because the pattern called for it, not because I decided to add it in, and it was the Drops mohair in, I believe it's called ash grey or charcoal. It's the darkest grey that they had. This was a really fun piece. Now, it was knit flat, which initially I wasn't stoked about, and I really don't enjoy seaming, and I'm not very good at it, so it is what it is. But sorry, I'm sniffling, that's embarrassing. Not embarrassing, I'm not embarrassed by it. It's just a bit gross, I'm very sorry. But yeah, here she is. She has cables and detailing, and I love this big chunky braid up the side. Very clever little piece. It's a very clever jumper. I love the honeycomb brioche. I want to knit some more honeycomb brioche. It was fun both in the round and flat. It was easy in the flat because you didn't do any purling, but I quite like purling. I'm not one of the people that holds a judgment against the poor purl stitch. Yeah, so I'm very pleased with this. I did the smallest size, and for a more oversized, very oversized, more relaxed fit, I'd probably go up a size, but actually, again, for practical, I did the smallest size. It fits me really nicely. It is a little bit loosey-goosey and it is very cropped. If I was to knit another one, I would probably knit exactly the same, but just add a little bit of length on the body. Because it is such a, I mean, it's so warm. I was a bit concerned that it was going to be impractical actually, because it was going to be so warm, but I was outside in just this and my jeans and I was quite comfortable, even though it's 3 degrees outside today. So it is very warm. Don't need it much longer really in the Hertfordshire climate. Yeah, love this. The back does not have the cables, but it does have the 2 braids going up the sides, and it has a nice bit of pearl, which I always poo-pooed? Yeah, whatever, it a bit, and I was a bit like, oh, maybe I should have the stockinette showing anyway, but I quite like it. I also have to admit that, just because, you know, we talk about these things, I didn't do the folded ribbing at the top, and that was not because I didn't want to. I think it would have been a really, really nice touch. But I ended up doing a tubular bind off only because I had a full skein left and it felt a shame to break into a full skein just for the top, which wasn't going to make much of a difference. In hindsight, maybe I should have added a few inches to the body and done that, but I wasn't very well. I really, really enjoyed knitting this. I am excited for this pattern to come out. I should double check whether it has or not, but either way, I will link to her Ravelry and her Instagram. And thank you so much for letting me test this, and this is definitely going to be a staple in my wardrobe. This is a much more sensible colour for me compared to some of the things I have knitted in the past. Yeah. We're going quite quickly, but also hopefully long enough. Another thing I'm going to add, this SNAELDAN yarn, I couldn't believe how much it softens up. I mean, I enjoy rusticy yarns and ones with a bit of lanolin in it to knit with anyway, but this was really nice to knit with, and then when I popped it in the wash, it does maybe need another wash, another soak, but it is so soft now, especially even with the mohair. It is really, yeah, definitely, I mean, I've not worn it with anything underneath it, so it is very soft and snuggly. Yeah, I'll stop gushing about that, but highly recommend that pattern when it comes out. I think it will maybe have a bit more wording, and she's also filmed some tutorials, which is amazing. Amazing. You have to give me. I've spent a lot of the last week on my own. Apart from with you, Audrey, I know. She looked at me like, no you weren't, I know. I don't know how much talking to you though I meant to really do. Probably not as much as I do. I said do. Yes. And finally, I am wearing one of my finished objects. Now, the thing okay, so this is knit in Never Trust Imprints by Once Upon a Corgi, and I do have the ball bands, just so that I don't get things wrong. Sorry for sniffling. I mean, even her ball bands are so cute. And it will go at some point. Yeah. I mean, how cute. So it is Never Trust a Prince, and the mohair is her fig lace base, which is kid mohair, which is 70% and 30% silk, and it's 50 grams and 460 yards, which I'm guessing it's somewhere around the 420 mark. And then the other yarn that I have is her Marie Cutie base, which is 75% superwash Corriedale and 25% nylon at 100 grams, so it's 430 yards. I'll let you see a little bit close up. So you can see it's this grey with dark grey, some almost mustardy and purple, magenta-y tones. Yeah, the thing I am most proud of is the fact that I started this in the car on Friday on the way up to Newcastle. And it's not that I finished it, it's the fact that I designed it in the car in a quick sketch. Audrey's gone to check on Alex's beer. Thank you, Audrey. But it's the fact that I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and there's definitely some tweaks I need to do, but I managed to get it straight out the first time. The thing that I wanted to do and achieve was this neckline. So it's quite a deep. I've never liked a V-neck, really, if I'm honest. So I didn't want to do a V-neck, but I wanted it to have this big wide neckline because I have been wearing vest tops in pretty much this exact shape since I can remember, and I nearly asked one of my friends if she would sew me some. I can now knit one. I might move the straps so they come in ever so slightly closer. The straps I have made a little bit longer than intended, but that was a very easy little quick fix at the end. I managed to get mohair sleeves without having to hold the mohair throughout or just doing, you know, a yoke sweater or a raglan and just joining it. I think it's quite pretty. Yeah, so I would like to take a few stitches out of here. I did re-knit the sleeve to reduce that to begin with, but I would like to take out a little bit more. But I'm really proud of myself, and this is the second, I lie because my soiree was bottom up, but this was the second thing I knitted bottom up that worked, and I love her. She has no name. She has to have at least 1 or 2 more knits. And I'm proud and excited, and yeah. What do you think, Audrey? Yeah. I think it's quite cute. It's fairly simple, really, but I do think it's quite a clever construction, really. What am I saying? But yeah, I think it's quite a clever construction. I love the I-cord and that it works, and I would like to do a version with really long sleeves. This is actually long, longer than it looks, but I like to wear it a little bit up here. Yeah. I'm just going to pause you because I can only record for 20 minutes and I've been talking for 20 minutes. Oh, you gonna come here? Come on. Come and say hi. No, look at her. What is it? No one's there. She's freaking out about Tuxedo Cat still, aren't you? There you go. No, Tuxedo Cat is way more important. So yeah, given that that was my, I don't know, Cockney. Why doesn't it want to know who I am? As always. Yes. Given that I have a profound love for holding a fingering weight yarn with mohair or creating pieces that have 1 of each, this is a great way for me to use them in something very wearable for me. I have a few ideas for different sleeves I'd like to do, and obviously adjustments for maybe doing one that's got a bit of negative ease, because I created this basically to fit me with 0 to a tiny bit, and given that it's superwash, which I did forget when writing as I went. It gave a little bit when it had a gentle block. So, yeah. I thought I would ask what colour you think my next one should be, because obviously I'd like to cast on another one. And I have many options, but I might do a poll and ask you to help. I'm thinking, so we'll go with the mustards first. Maybe not while my hair is this colour. It doesn't look that different, but it is very much quite a grey. I would like to lighten it some more and head more into the lilac and lavender world. Audrey is about to go and chase a cat, I think. Oh dear. Go on. Yes. So, I'm thinking when I lighten my hair to more of a purple, it might be more appropriate and make me look a bit less weird. Maybe it would still work, and future and everything. So I'm thinking my sunshine type colour on yak with my space tiger with short sleeves, or the classic, which Alex bought me and I've almost felt it's too special to knit with. So maybe I save this until I've really nailed in this pattern. So there's those two. Could be fun, both. And then into the world of, well, obviously, purple. So this was my After Laughter colour, which is lovingly called that and created with the Paramore album in mind. I would probably like to do a more like this length sleeve. So maybe I don't do that, or even just a little puff ball. I think a little puff ball would be really cute, and it's sort of somewhere between spring and summer. And Gibbon is he is sunny. It's the first time it's been sunny in days. It's lovely, but I do feel like I need a bit of the hope of spring in my life at the moment. Do you know, it's definitely been January, very January the last week or so. So this might be nice. And then finally, I was thinking about doing the ranunculus again, and you have to excuse my very poor winding at the moment, and mistreating some of my yarn. But I got this gorgeous colourway in Edinburgh. Ooh, maybe I do this. And this one would be longer sleeves, longer than this, I think. Yeah, so there's quite an array of, you know, almost not creative, but kind of creative colours. What do you think? Any of them? None of them? All of them? Not all of them. Yeah, some gorgeous yarn here. I'm not sure about using singles for it. I mean, it'll be fine. Just maybe not quite as hard wearing. And I've never used yak, so I'm tempted to do yak just because, but then I'm not 100% convinced that I'll wear it, but it could be cute, especially with little fluttery sleeves. This is a really good haul. Obviously it's not a haul, I haven't just invested in this for this reason, this is just stuff that I had before. I like it. Yeah, so that's kind of, I say that's all. That's nearly all of the knitting and yarn talk that I have to share with you. I kind of decided that with the new year, and I have been slowly clearing out the house, I would also just get rid of things that were on needles that didn't need to be, or I was never going to finish, or I want to gift. So I must have unpicked 7 or 8 projects this week. I have a shawl that I've been knitting that I'm going to convert into a cowl as a gift, so that's one thing that will go very soon. I have a headband to finish as a gift, and I will share that as soon as it's finished and gifted. I got to divide and put the sleeves on a turtle dove, which would have been my 3rd one. That's gone. So I've ripped out quite a bit of knitting. Oh, come on you. Hey. Oh, she's rubbing up against the camera tripod. I have a Kate Davies jumper that I started before I even started this strange little thing. This is called a podcast, video cast. Not that strange. And I'm still torn. I might rip it out. When I started it, I would definitely have worn it a lot, but I'm not convinced that I would now, and it's gorgeous yarn, so I should really put it into something that I will wear. So I'm going to leave it on the needles for a little bit longer. I have a pair of socks, 2 pairs of socks. One was my Christmas Eve cast on. That I'll finish when I get round to, they're not urgent. I've got another pair of socks that I might rip back until I've done my first pair of toe up, and maybe I should get them down. But I started doing them in rib, and realistically I knit socks, unless they're heavily patterned, I knit socks as a bit of a palette cleansing release, which I think quite a few knitters do, and that's not very practical for that purpose, so I think they're going to be ripped back to the toe and then they'll fly off the needles. In fact, if Alex finishes his, maybe he can have the toes, and and use it, because the yarn is a really gorgeous mid-grey and like a mossy green, so maybe I'll offer him that as a way of carrying on his little knitting mojo. So really, I wanted to start clearing those things. I have a jumper, this is the last one that I'll talk about because I think that really is it. I have a jumper that was a test knit, but I missed the deadline. It was all cleared up, it was all okayed due to being sick. And it's something that I would really like to finish, but again, it's not an urgent piece. The colour work's it's not difficult, but it takes some thinking, because it's a technique to me that I hadn't done before, and actually once you get into it it's fine, but to get back into it will take a bit, and then once you pass the colour work it will just fly off the needles. So that's just a project that's going to sit for a while, and that's not a problem. So really I didn't want to cast on too many things, but I wanted to cast on another project that was a little bit thinky for the evenings and the days where I am home alone or need a little bit of escapism. And given that I'm into mohair and black, I decided to cast on a black mohair shawl. I saw the lovely Hannah, who most people will know, the Corner Craft, and she knitted the For Art Lovers shawl, I believe it's called. I will double check, I'll pop it on the screen, pop it in the link below. Down there. The coffee's probably kicking in quite a bit by now actually, or this is just really me. And I loved it. Now, she knit hers for a wedding in a gorgeous sort of, I want to say oyster colour, but I don't know whether that's really gorgeous, but I thought it was a gorgeous colour. And I've gone for black. I'm still not unsure, but I'm a little bit concerned that I'm going to be a bit, I don't know how wearable it's going to be, because it's going to look like a funeral piece, is what I'm trying to say, I believe. I haven't done too much. I have got this one chart that you do once and the next chart you do 7 times, and I've done it twice. So there's not really a lot to show you, obviously completely unblocked on very short needles, cable, because that's kind of how I like to work with mohair. I don't like to have it escaping all over the place. I'm finding that the lacework's fairly easy to follow. I keep putting markers in and then taking them off. I'm not sure why, because actually the markers do make it very easy. Yeah, gorgeous pattern, very easy in the way it's written. It is very much get started, here are your charts, off you go. So if you don't know charts, it's not rocket science. That's a phrase I like quite a lot. Been using it a lot at work lately. Started a new job. Not sure about that, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I am really enjoying knitting on this. I think my aim is going to be to not rush. I really try not to knit very fast, and I don't knit very fast, but when I'm unwell I have quite a lot of time to knit, which is why sometimes things like this fly off. But this I'm not going to rush through. I'm, maybe do half a chart, repeat a day, maybe not do any, because I have no purpose for this. I'd quite like a black shawl, to be honest, because I didn't realise how much I would wear a shawl. This texture time that's next to me gets worn, well, any time I go out of the house really at the moment. I have a big purple fluffy coat. It still hasn't been blocked. I've worn it so much that I haven't been able to justify the time, so this is rolling. But so I feel like a little black one would be quite nice. It might be finished in the middle of summer, where it might be impractical, but still it might be quite a nice piece to have as a lightweight shawl to take away for the evening. I don't know, but very enjoyable. I didn't realise that I would enjoy knitting lace as much as I am. It is living in my lovely Duckpool Lane bag, which the lovely Leslie made. I really love her bags. I also really love the fact that her cat Stanley and my cat Audrey send each other treats in the post and write each other letters, because that's normal. Yeah, I haven't cast anything else on. I am not going to cast this. Oh, look at, I mean, so shouldn't that be something? No, you need to be tops. But imagine that. Yes, so I'm not going to cast that on too quickly, but if I do, I will probably today put on Instagram a poll actually. I think that might help me of which colours I'm going to do that, which colours I should cast on, if any, and in what shape. Short sleeve or long sleeve, that's the options. I will figure out the rest as I go. So yeah, finally we have bottled the beer that we brewed 2 weeks ago at the Brew Club in Hackney. That was fun, so I'll share a little bit of footage of that. And also on Friday, even though I was feeling pretty rotten, Alex discovered an event that was whiskey and painting, and though I didn't drink very much, I did have a taste which, in hindsight, really seemed to help my throat. So I've been waffling for quite some time. My camera just went a little bit loopy at me and told me that I had insufficient memory, which is probably incredibly accurate. We were discussing the RIACH event, and though I was unsure that I should go, Alex did purchase me a ticket, and it was £10. I wasn't at work, so it made sense to go, and I had such a lovely time. Rachel was the master blender, Ellis was the artist. She had 3 pieces on display, which you'll see, hopefully. If you stick around, you don't have to stick around, but it was quite wonderful. And she had painted these paintings to reflect the 3 different casks that go into their 10-year-old blended whiskey. After tasting them and having a bit of a chat with them all, we then got to just paint, which was fantastic. I'll show you. She explained a little bit on how to use the art supplies and how she came up with the idea. The idea was to express how you felt when you drank the 10-year-old. And you know what? I'm going to get Alex's too. Run, cat, run. So these are the pieces we created, and we're going to mix it up, and you can guess who's whose. I'm not sure which way we want these to be seen. Yeah. So apparently I painted the top that I was wearing in a roundabout way, and Alex is way more accurate, and it is more like, he said, it was like running through an orchard, and I get that. So that's what we created. Really fantastic event. The end of it, see, this was £10 in London. In London. This might be the best £10 ever spent in London. We got a tote bag, which I don't have with me. We got a RIACH glass, which is probably £10. We got this really fancy box, which I don't know why it's so fancy. It's clearly just what they had, and they didn't buy any more, but it's really fancy. So I might use it for something else. But then we also got, let's hope these show up on the screen, postcards / prints of each of the paintings that the lovely Ellis O'Connor did. So you've got the virgin oak cask, the sherry oak cask, and the bourbon cask. I think I'm going to pop these as like a triptych in a frame. But yeah, couldn't believe it. Thought that was a fantastic thing. So keep your eye out at, RIACH. Their event, if they do it again, which I really recommend that they do, was fantastic. And it might have helped that the room was half filled with people from the lovely land of Scotland, but it had a really lovely environment. Everyone was smiling, and that might have been the cask strength drams, but it was a really, really good evening. We were in bed by 10 o'clock, which was great too. Right, I am going to go and stop waffling, just in case the memory goes yet again, and thank you so much for letting me chat with you. I feel quite a bit better, even than I did when I started recording, and that might be just letting all this energy out. It might be the glorious sunshine. But whatever you're up to, I hope that you do take some time to look after yourself the next week or so. I hope to start recording a little bit more frequently, not necessarily in this format. I will still probably keep this every other week. I think it might be fun to do some other things. Alex has recommended some ideas, which makes me believe he's a more prolific and knowledgeable knitter than I am. But yeah, please, as always, share what you're working on below if you would like to. Share any music recommendations if you wish. If you're going to My Chemical Romance, please let me know, just because that is very exciting. And yeah, Yes, please take part on my poll on Instagram. I ham. Okay, I've got another few minutes in me, clearly. I have changed my Instagram to heather.hops, and my old personal account is currently cat.weaver. I'm secretly, not secretly because I'm telling you, hoping to get my old name back in like a week's time when I'm allowed to have it again. But I'm going to try and keep more knitting over on heather.hops on Instagram and more of my personal, ramblings over on cat.weaver. You're welcome to join both, you're welcome to join neither, it's up to you. I will try and share pictures of Audrey on the heather.hops because we love you, don't we? She heard her name and is now at my feet. She is still standing guard. Right, anyway. Look after yourselves, look after your loved ones, hug them, tell them you love them, hug yourself, tell yourself you love yourself, and if you get on with some knitting, that is fantastic. If you don't, it's fine too. But I do hope you have a little bit of time for yourself, knitting, and your speak to you very soon. Take care. Hey buddy, you're stunning.
Whoa, look at that tongue.
Aww.